All right, here we go. Lord Jamar, welcome back.
What up?
What's up, man? A lot of shit has happened since last time.
Absolutely. This is a good time right now.
This is a good time
Yes.
right now.
Let's fucking talk about it.
Okay, first and foremost, your man R. Kelly.
Oh, you coming with that first.
I'm coming with that first.
Okay. I thought we was going to talk about something positive like Jay-Z, but okay, let's go into R. Kelly.
Yeah, we'll get to the Jay-Z. You know,
All
that's
right.
on the list of things to talk about, but let's start with R. Kelly.
Listen, when you're in an R. Kelly cult, right? Once you're in, you're in. You're in. Get it? You're in. Yo, that's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, apparently a group of girls are in an R. Kelly quote unquote cult. They're not allowed to talk to their families. They're not allowed to be on social media. And he basically has a harem, pretty much.
I mean, is that any different from like a Hugh Hefner? And
Well,
Hugh Hefner's the man,
you don't hear
right?
Hugh Hefner, you know, Playboy girls being like isolated from their families and not allowed to use the phones and stuff.
I mean,
like that.
we don't know the rules up in the fucking Playboy mansion. You know what I mean? All we know is what they show us when they had that little show, the cameras. But he had 3 broads, you know what I mean, that were outwardly saying that they were his broads. We don't know the phone rules. We don't know what kind of shit, you know what I mean?
This is true. And actually, something I've been hearing a lot over the years is that Hugh Hefner actually was making a lot of his money by essentially brokering, pimping, whatever you want to say, his girls to like billionaires
Why
overseas
not?
and so forth.
Why not? Why wouldn't he be doing that? He's semi-pimping anyway. When you do some shit like that, that's like a lower degree of pimping. You see what I'm saying? There's degrees to everything. You start out, you know what I mean? Milk is a food, and then you move on to steak as you get older. You understand what I'm saying? When you can handle it. So it's like, you know, you start out with your little nudie book where you're showing broads titties and all of that, and you paying them to do that. You know what I mean? The next level is pimping and shit like that. Why not?
Well, you know, he had access to what were considered the most beautiful women in the world who were, you know, agreeing to get naked on camera, right?
Well, yeah, to you know, the most beautiful women to him, to the people that would look at that book.
Well,
I never thought the Playboy
at that point, I felt like it was based on societal standards. Like, clearly you and I have different tastes and so forth. But in terms of like...
Right.
You know, like the Playboy girls were considered more attractive than like the porn stars.
To the average white man, I suppose.
To the average white man, to the majority of American society, let's say.
I guess, yeah. To the mainstream.
To the mainstream.
That was a mainstream nudie.
So
magazine.
you got access to a bunch of women who are down to get naked in front of the camera.
Right.
You got the baddest ones to the mainstream. Hey, people want access to that. You got that access.
Why not?
Why not? Now let's talk about our man R. Kelly, though.
I was gonna say he's not accused of pimping, at least. God damn it, he's just a freak. Okay, he's a freak. Like let's not act like we haven't heard all the stories for years. How he loves the young girls, and you know what I mean. We already saw him peeing on a poor baby's face. You know, this is not surprising. I mean, This just shows you, though, how when you let something take your mind, you see what I'm saying? Like, he's so into sex that sex has now become a religion for him. You see? When you allow something to take your life and your mind so far, this is where you end up with sex cults. You know what I mean? Like, come on, B.
Well, and if you think about it, what is R. Kelly known for musically? Singing about sex.
Right.
He is not, I mean, yeah, there's a few I believe I could flies in there and so forth.
Oh, and he's trying to change
general,
into a stepper, singer, or whatever the case may be. But
in general, though, people were, R. Kelly became famous by singing about fucking.
Mm-hmm.
So, he told you what he was about from the get-go.
Right.
Did you see the video that just surfaced? Like an old video of his performance holding up the 18 and over sign?
Like, why would you even feel that you have to put that? You see? That's like your mind telling on itself in a way.
Right, because clearly
any grown man, that should be a given. Like, I shouldn't have to hold up a sign and say, if you want to fuck with me, you need to be 18 and over. Like, y'all should know that already. If I'm a grown-ass man.
Well, and also you're, approaching women who look well over 18, as opposed to looking for women that are kind of on the cusp.
Where you got to kind of like, how old is she? Not sure.
Well, here's a very interesting tangent. I recently did an interview with this artist named Baby Bash, and he was part of a record label in Texas called Dope House Records, which was run by a guy named SPM, South Park Mexican. Are you familiar with this name at all?
No. Baby Bash sounds familiar, but I don't know any of the other
SPM
stuff.
was huge in Texas. Like, he was having platinum albums. He got signed to Universal. His albums, he's been in jail for a while. His albums still, like, his last 4 albums were in the top 10 on the rap charts.
Wow.
Like, this is how big he was. Mexican rapper. He ends up getting charged and convicted for getting a 13-year-old pregnant when he was 23. And this was like, 10 years after the fact. Some other stuff had come up, and they started investigating him, and they found that, okay, yes, here's this girl who was 13 when she had his child. The DNA matches. It goes to court.
Meaning she was like 12 when they was fucking.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
12 or 13, yeah, right. So it goes to court. He gets convicted of sexual assault on a minor, sentenced to 45 years.
Mm.
But what we found out in the conversation...
When he was 23 and the girl was 14?
13.
She was working at a strip club. You know that, right?
I did not.
Okay, she was a stripper. You can't be a stripper.
She was a 13-year-old stripper.
Stripper. You can't. So whoever hired her she had her some ID or something. She was a stripper.
Right. So he's thinking, if you in a strip club stripping, you must be of age.
Right, because it's an 18 and over strip club. Obviously, there's no such thing as underage strip clubs. So
and what kind of GMO foods was this little girl eating that she can be in a strip club and you would believe that she's of age? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not exactly as cut and dry as I thought it was going to be. Because at first it's like, okay, this guy's a child molester, 45 years is fine, let's get him out of society. But it's like, well, then you think, well, you're at a place where everyone's supposed to be 18.
Right, have any charges come up on the strip club? Because if anything, they kind of put her in that situation, you know what I mean?
I mean, the strip club may not have even been in business anymore. We're talking about 10 years because he was like paying child support or whatever. Right. And then like later on, years later, it came out. You know how strip clubs kind of come and go. But maybe if it was still in existence, I'm sure they got charged. But, then there's also statute of limitations, whatever, right?
Right.
Do you feel that he deserves 45 years?
Well, I mean, I see there's extenuating circumstances. I can't just give you a full assessment from the brief little shit that you told me. Listen, at the end of the day, you're responsible. You understand? You gotta do your due diligence. I don't give a fuck where you met her at. Like, you know what I mean? Like, shit, these days, you better fucking make sure she got a pussy and all of that type of shit, to be honest. Fuck how old she is. Yeah, of course, I'm going to say 23 with a 13-year-old girl, that's kind of crazy. But of the circumstances you say, I don't know. Maybe she gets some time, maybe not 45 years. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's
and
that's
then,
a tough one.
And then
right
the point is, she must have. I don't care how developed a 13-year-old is, it still is going to look like an underage girl at the end of the day. So
there's got to be certain tells, you see, that you wanted to ignore only because you was like, fuck that, I want this pussy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but there were certain things like, when she started talking about, and my teacher gets on my fucking nerves and all that, you should have said, well, whoa, what teacher are you talking about? Like you just assumed it was college, motherfucker. It was junior high school, goddamn it.
Yep. But back to R. Kelly. Now, R. Kelly got accused of peeing on an underage girl on camera.
Well, not accused. We saw that.
We saw it, yeah.
Right.
But it went to court and he won.
Mm-hmm.
Because the girl got on the stand and said, that's not me in the video.
Okay.
That's how he won. A bunch of her friends got on the stand and said, no, that's her because I remember this hairstyle. Here's a picture, whatever. But she got on the stand, and clearly she was paid off.
Of course.
Allegedly. I'm 99% sure of it, but I still got to say allegedly. She was paid off. And she said, that's not me, and that created a reasonable doubt with the jury, and he was let go free.
Right.
But mark my words. Mark my words. If something criminal has happened with this cult thing that he's doing right now, and he gets dragged back into court, they're gonna OJ his sentence.
I was just gonna say that's OJ all over again. You know what I mean? Right. That's OJ all over again. So yeah, we'll see. But then again, first of all, but here's what makes it different than OJ. Who he peed on was not a white girl. So it's not like they're going to care as much. You see, because if OJ would have murdered a black wife, it wouldn't have even been like that. It wouldn't have been the trial of the century. It's only because he married a beautiful blonde-haired white woman that this shit is like, oh my God, the audacity of this nigger. You know what I mean? How dare he kill one of our fucking beautiful white women? Like, you know what I mean? Trust me. That's what made it even more sensational and made white America care about it. Because trust me, if it was a black woman, they would have been like, damn, he killed his wife. That's fucked up. They would have moved on. You know what I mean? They'd have moved on. But just like they moved on, if R. Kelly pissed on a little white girl's face, I don't give a fuck if she said that wasn't her or not. They'd have been like, that's you, little girl. His fucking pee, brainwashed you. He brainwashed you with his pee. And you don't know what you're talking about, little girl. It was you, and we're going to put this motherfucker under the jail. Trust me, okay? It's because she's black that they didn't give a fuck. All right, that wasn't you. Whatever. Next. But now let any of these white girls is any of these girls white? Because I seen them.
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay. If he got any white girls in this cult, you better forget about it. If they all black or Mexican or some shit like that, he's good. Trust me. He's good.
I feel you. I think there's some truth in that.
Absolutely. This is America, baby.